Inspection. I was awakened by the sound of tires crunching gravel against frozen ground. I watched from the window as they spilled out of their car near the front door, 6 of them. From my high, sharp angle, I couldn't tell much about the inspectors. They were in the cafeteria at breakfast, a half a dozen men and women wearing business clothes and carrying clipboards. It was like a third life form had invaded our strange little planet of teachers and students. They stood near one wall, watching us and whispering among themselves. Any idea what they're thinking? I asked Cheater. Not from this far away, but look at them. I get the feeling a couple of them are scared of us, he said. Scared of us? That idea surprised me. I knew the Edgies were frightened by our reputation, but those Edgies were just kids. These were adults. It never occurred to me that adults would be afraid of kids. I wondered how they'd feel if they know that some of the kids had amazing powers. Bloodbath is pretty quiet, Lucky said. I glanced over towards Bloodbath's table. Lucky was right. A gang of them was just sitting there, eating breakfast. Nobody was wrestling or shouting. I bet they're saving their energy for something big, I said. Grunge came in late and joined Bloodbath. Then 2 more of the gang came strutting into the cafeteria and nodded at Bloodbath as they took their seats. He grinned and nodded back. A moment later, the bell rang for class. Oh, they're planning something, I said. See if you can pick up anything, I told Cheater. I expected him to protest that it was too dangerous, but he surprised me. I'll try, he said. He wove through the crowd and managed to slip behind Bloodbath for a moment. Then he had to back off as they got closer to the door. I guess Cheater didn't want to get trapped next to him in a crush of kids. Well, I asked Cheater when he worked his way back to us. 20 candles, he said. I got that thought in my mind. 20 candles, all set to go. Candles, again. Any idea what it means? I asked. Cheater shook his head. Not a clue. Hey, check this out, Lucky called. He opened a closet door in the hallway just outside the cafeteria and pointed at something. Look what I found. What the heck? Torchy asked. I looked inside at a lit candle. It was stuck on a small square of wood, probably jammed onto a nail. A fuse was wrapped around the base of the candle. The other end of the fuse led to a shorter fuse coming out of a large cardboard tube. That's an M80, Cheater said, a big-time firecracker. I unwrapped the fuse from the candle. They must have used the candle so it would go off later when everyone was in class. That way, there would be no chance of getting caught. Torchy bent over and blew out the flame. Don't they know it's dangerous to leave a fire going like that? Lucky grabbed the M80 and put it in his pocket, then dashed down the hall to the next closet. He opened the door and waved for us. Oh man, that's bad news, I said. This one had 2 M80s attached to a candle. But that wasn't the worst part. The explosives were taped against the side of a water pipe. If they blew, the place would be flooded. Even for Bloodbath, this was an incredibly stupid and dangerous stunt. Bloodbath must have done this, Lucky said. At least we found it before it went off. Think there are any others? 20 candles, Cheater shouted. That's what they were thinking. They must be spread all around the school. If even one goes off, it could do a lot of damage. Can you find the rest of them? Torchy asked Lucky. I don't know, Lucky said. I don't think I can search for something specific. I just find stuff. I can't control what I find. Well, there's no time anyhow, I said. I grabbed Torchy by the shoulder. You're our best bet. You've been learning how to start your fires. Do you think you can put them out, too? I don't know. You have to try, I said. That's the only way. Do your best. Torchy nodded. Then he got a blank look on his face. I had a sudden horrible fear that he'd get it backwards and turn the whole school into a blazing bonfire instead of putting out all the candles. I was struck by images of the walls around me bursting into flames. Talk about making a bad impression on the inspectors. Welcome to Edgeview. Watch us burn. Torchy stared off into the distance. A drop of sweat ran down his forehead. I waited for something more dramatic. I expected him to at least grunt or groan or pass out, but finally he grinned and said, I think I did it. How can we tell? Lucky asked. Well, if you don't hear the place blowing up all around us, you'll know it worked, I said. We hurried along the hall. As I sat in math, I kept bracing for an explosion. It never came. By the end of the period, I was pretty sure Torchy had succeeded. We'd won the first battle. I had no idea what else Bloodbath might do. On our way to the next class, Torchy found 2 more of the M80s. Both candles had gone out. You did it, I told Torchy, patting him on the back. That's great. Yeah, I guess I did. I think putting out all those fires helped me too. He said, the more I understand what I can do, the better I can learn to control it. I noticed wisps of smoke coming from his notebook. Torchy, I said, pointing to the smoldering spot next to his index finger. This might be a good time to work on that control. Oops, he said, dropping the notebook. But instead of stomping on it, he just got that blank look for a moment, and the fire went out. As we reached for our next class, I saw that Bloodbath didn't deal well with frustration. He knocked a couple of the runts out of his way as he came into the room. The rest of them scattered like mice scooting from the path of a lawnmower. Up near the front of the classroom, a woman in a gray suit wrote a note on a small pad. I wondered whether Bloodbath might be able to do enough damage even without the explosions. Next to me, Cheater snapped the tip of his pencil. He got up and walked to the back of the room towards the sharpener, taking a route that nobody ever took, going right past Bloodbath. I thought it was pretty brave of him, especially since he caught a quick punch on the arm as he went by. When he returned to his seat, he glanced towards Bloodbath and whispered, "Lunch. He's planning something for lunchtime." There was nothing I could do right now. In the meantime, I tried to pay attention in class. The funny thing was, I didn't get a chance to give the inspectors a good impression. None of my teachers called on me. The rest of the morning, things were pretty quiet. As I walked towards the lunchroom, I wondered how long our good luck would hold. Over here, we have a dinner conversation at the Andersons. So remember that the Andersons, that's Martin's family, so it's his sister, his mom, and his dad. Dorothy Anderson, that's the mom. Maybe we should drive out to Edgeview this Saturday and visit Martin, or maybe even bring him home for the weekend. Richard, what's the point? We'll just have a miserable time. If I want abuse, I can get as much as I want at work. I don't need to spend 2 or 3 hours in a car for that. Dorothy, but I'm sure he misses us. Richard, him? I doubt it. Dorothy, really, Richard, you shouldn't be so... Richard, don't you start. I have enough people telling me what to do, but just drop it.